Welcome to today's custom-tailored deep dive.
hmm
It is so great to have you with us. Today we are looking at architect Mikel Del Rio's concept of the soft radical.
Yeah, we're drawing from a really fascinating stack of interview transcripts and firm notes today.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is to explore how you can be truly radical in your field without, ever actually raising your voice. Okay, let's unpack this.
What's fascinating here is that this entire philosophy was born out of, well, what most people would consider a dream come true.
hmm
At just 33 years old, Mikkel won a massive career-defining project.
Which is huge.
It is huge. But instead of popping champagne, he looked at what scaling up really meant, and he realized he was staring straight into what he calls the vortex.
The vortex. That sounds a bit ominous for a major career win. Because usually in architecture, winning a massive bid means you immediately upgrade your office, right?
Yeah.
You hire a massive team.
Right, and maybe lease an expensive sports car to look the part.
Exactly. So what made him see it so differently?
Well, it really comes down to his past experiences. He spent his formative years working in these highly demanding, hyper-competitive architectural offices.
The classic high-pressure environments.
Yeah, and he perfected the art of demanding excellence in those environments, sure. But he also saw firsthand how that relentless, towering pressure made his colleagues feel incredibly small.
Wow.
He realized that the traditional corporate architectural machine is basically a meat grinder. It forces creators to disconnect from their core values just to generate enough revenue to feed bloated overhead costs.
That hits close to home. And for anyone listening who feels trapped in a high-paying but completely soul-crushing job, his strategy here is brilliant. Because instead of leaning into that grind to feed the corporate machine, he actively stepped back.
He did. He chose to maintain a surprisingly humble lifestyle. The notes mention he still drives an old car and lives in a two-room flat.
Keeping his personal overhead incredibly low.
Exactly. It was a deliberate move to buy his own artistic freedom. Because he doesn't have massive lifestyle costs or a bloated corporate structure to sustain, he never finds himself forced to take on a bad project or compromise his vision just to keep the lights on.
Which brings us to this term he uses, the soft radical. It sounds like a total oxymoron at first. How can someone be radical by being soft?
It makes perfect sense when you break down his definitions. Being soft means actively listening. It is stepping out of the traditional architect's ivory tower to actually meet the client where they are.
Oh, I see.
He views his role as a universal translator, someone who distills all these diverse, sometimes conflicting voices into a single, unified vision.
But the radical part is just as crucial. It means absolutely refusing to burn your values in the process.
Right, you integrate the voices without losing your core principles.
Here's where it gets really interesting. He doesn't just apply this universal translator approach to his building designs. He applies it to the internal culture at his firm, Midieri. They actively fight against toxic presenteeism.
They do. Instead of policing working hours or celebrating the person who stays at their desk until midnight, they have created a democratic environment.
Which is rare in that industry.
Very rare. They respect every team voice and evaluate people based on their actual contributions to the work rather than just warming a chair for 12 hours a day. Mikkel strongly argues that if a profession is supposed to add value to society, the actual practice of that profession must add value to your private life.
Which highlights the profound profit of a genuine work-life balance. He basically says that winning every prestigious design award in the world is a complete failure if you lose your connection to your children in the process.
It all comes back to a sense of radical humility. He directly ties this to protecting his inner child.
The kid who was a bookworm.
Yes, the kid constantly inhabiting these vast mental worlds. By stepping back from the corporate meat grinder, he honors that past. He ensures that the kid who loved imagining things can still dream up architecture, but now those dreams leave his mind to become real physical spaces for the public.
So what does this all mean?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the core philosophy here is that only an architecture that truly listens is an architecture that can last. The goal isn't to chase 15 minutes of fame in the networking circuit or build an ego-driven monument.
It is building something enduring that can carry the weight of the next 200 years.
Exactly. This raises an important question.
In your own daily life, are you blindly feeding a corporate machine? And what would your personal soft radical approach look like if you prioritize protecting your own inner child? Think about that as you go about your week.